If we don't find out who the Black Knight is in this game, I'm gonna lose my mind. Are we starting to get into new cutscenes now? Because maybe this is the point in the original game where it's just like, hey, congrats, you won. Now explore around Mira and have fun.
What in God's name is going on?
Yeah, it's new stuff. You can tell because how differently he sounds.
Let's not jump to conclusions before the analysts reach a verdict.
Oh, is he recast too?
What? You think since we're still walking and talking, we shouldn't raise any alarms?
Yes, something like that.
But it's so disturbing to think about.
Well, at least Lynn's the same. Pretty sure.
Commander, you're the one in charge here. Let's not make the troops uneasy now.
Right. Yeah. Sorry, wasn't my intention.
Lynn, we know how you feel. But right now, we have to put aside our fears. The Lifehold crew are working hard too, pushing it down as best they can. Their time's just as short. Sit tight and have faith.
Elma. I'm sorry. Everyone's busting their butts, and here I am just thinking about myself. Okay, I'll be patient.
Tatsu will also be patient.
You're not even a mim, potato brain.
Oh, okay, so that still counted as part of Chapter 12. That was just a new cutscene at the end of it that wasn't in the original game. It's interesting hearing everyone's voices suddenly so different. Yeah, gotta restore the power. Oops, you've never needed to the whole time. Yeah, because something about the planet is keeping you alive. And everyone's been recast. Yep, sure seems like. But yeah, I got a range attack probe. Hell yeah, you obtained multiple skull schematics. Cool. Obtained multiple super weapon schematics. Cool. Alright, so now it puts me back into the world or something? Okay. What was the brief bit of other music that was playing? Elmo's true form. However you felt upon seeing the real me, I won't pry for now. If you're not opposed to adventuring with me in my true form, I'd be happy to oblige. It's entirely up to you. Well, where to next? This planet still abounds with mystery. Yeah, so you can toggle Elma across appearances now. That was a thing in the original game too, after beating it. But yeah, I guess people are gonna sound a little bit different. Yeah, I just don't like this plot point in general, even though they finished the game now. It just invalidates every sense of urgency from before it, with the fact that we're all still alive and that it doesn't matter, the Overdrive Legion. I guess that's a type of Skell? Because, yeah, in the original game... Oh, I guess you're toggled to that for now. I can change you in a sec here. In the original game, it was just like, yep, we don't know what the heck is, True Elma is much hotter, yeah. It's just like, we don't know what's going on here, and it kind of hinted at a sequel, like maybe, oh, I gotta replace my skills. Like maybe a future game would answer these questions. But yeah, you can go around doing affinity missions and stuff, and it, oh my god, the leg. And it just seems to make more questions come up. They revealed it too late, could have worked better if revealed earlier. The fact that, like, we're still staying alive, despite the fact that we should be dead here. I assume it's because, like, it felt very much like it was meant to, like, tease towards a sequel. Like a Xenoblade Chronicles 2 would answer the questions about all the things that we have questions about. Need another reason to restart power? Oh, maybe I should have been paying more attention during that last cutscene about why they needed to restart power in the last thing or blah, because I was more focused on them recasting a bunch of people. But yeah, so this did feel very much like it was meant to be the beginning of something more that it just never really became. And I assume this epilogue is going to be like a bit of a band-aid onto that, but probably not answer everything. And now that Xenoblade Chronicles 3 revealed that they want to bring X into the mix, I assume that future titles will answer some things, or maybe things will be like brought all together in some way. Because again, Xenoblade 3 not only tried to bring X into the mix, but it tried to bring Xenosaga into the mix as well. So we've got one new game being brought into the mix and one new trilogy of games being brought into the mix. So I honestly feel like there might not be any more Xenoblade games. They might start making Xeno something else, and then the Xeno something else is kind of like the amalgamation of all the Xenoblade stuff and all the Xenosaga stuff, or something like that, which is why the next Xeno playthrough I want to do on this channel is Xenosaga. I want to start playing through those games and get a little bit caught up so I understand what the hell is going on. But yeah, well, they do make games just for Nintendo. That was the deal. They'd get creative freedom, but they'd make games exclusively for Nintendo. And now Monolith Soft is like one of the main kind of studios at Nintendo that helps with some of the biggest titles they make, like Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild and stuff like that. They help with Splatoon games as well, and probably some other ones I'm missing. Monolith Soft helps with a lot of big titles at Nintendo. But yeah, or maybe the Xeno series will get a new series. Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. Yeah, I'm thinking that's what they're probably going to transition into. Unless they end up doing a Xenoblade Chronicles X2, which I kind of doubt at this point. I feel like the next thing is most likely going to be Xeno something else. And then it ties together like all the other stuff before. Okie doke, take care there, Hikari. Xenoblade Chronicles 4, the answer to whatever the hell happened in X. I'd be down for that. And we'll probably get some answers by doing stuff here. Also, I saw the comment earlier, and I didn't read it out in time. I have to scroll up a little bit now, about the Great One potentially being the final boss from the first game, like Zanza. I mean, maybe it's tied together with the one in some way. Yeah, they did indeed. Yeah, fair enough there. But the thing that still, like, confounds me the most is how this can be part of the overall picture when it just, at face value, would not work story-wise. Like, X and the trilogy stories kind of conflict with one another in a way where it seems like logically they wouldn't both be able to be true. So, the lore origin story of the Xenoblade Chronicles trilogy 1, 2, and 3 is that there was this thing that appeared from another dimension, the Conduit, which was basically like a perpetual motion machine and like a thing that could essentially pull energy out of other dimensions. It was a weird multiversal thing that people were tapping into power in like this space station. And weirdly enough, this was revealed in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 that the Conduit was a thing. And presumably 2 would have been in development like around the time that X was coming out, because this came out in 2015 and 2 came out in 2017. The Lifehold bits, which I thought there was one around here that I could show as an example from Nagi's mission. The bits of the Lifehold are shaped like the Conduit. I thought there was one in the waters out here. Maybe it's just during Nagi's quest, or maybe it's on a different shore around here or something. Anyway, the pieces of the Lifehold are shaped like the Conduit, so there's clearly a visual connection there. Shaped like the Conduit slash the Zohar from Xenosaga, which is like the Conduit equivalent of the Xenosaga games. And that thing was used by the scientist Klaus because there was a big war going on by the Saviorite rebels that we still don't know what their motivation was, and the world government. There was a war between them for the Conduit because it's like a perpetual motion machine, and who wouldn't want like an infinite energy machine? So rebels wanted that, and who knows what the finer details of the conflict were. Who knows, but there was a conflict going on. Klaus lost his faith in humanity, and he was like, screw it, I'm gonna use the Conduit to remake the universe and make a better world. And so he uses the Conduit. That splits the world into 2. It makes the world of Xenoblade Chronicles 1, which is like the newly created universe, and then the world of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is like the Earth that was left behind, is what it be. So that's the worlds of Xenoblade 1 and 2, which come together in 3. You have the new world and the world that was left behind. And that's what was going on, was the whole war thingamabob. Klaus lost faith in humanity, and then he remade the universe. And so, like, Earth remains as the world of Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and then you have a new world of Xenoblade 1. That's what's going on there. And okie doke, take care there, Colin. Have a good rest of the night. Wait, I should just, like, get out here. Well, I should probably do. Well, I just kind of mindlessly go at these quests in the meantime. Whereas Xenoblade Chronicles X is like, hey, there's these alien races that are about to duke it out over Earth. We need to make arc ships to get the hell out of here before that happens. So all these arc ships were made, and they escaped, and the Earth was destroyed in the battle, and one of those alien races, it turns out, really hates humans, being the Ganglion, because they fear them because of their connections to Samara and all that, having the failsafe that, like, destroys them, enslaves them, whatever the heck thingamabob. So they really want Earth to be the battlefield, because they want to get rid of humans. in the process of their battle with a ghost. That's another question that was never answered with the original game, is who the hell are the ghosts? Which is the other faction that was fighting the Ganglion over Earth. Who the hell are they? So the Earth was destroyed, Arc ships escaped. So you'd think these two things can't both be true. Where it's like story of 1, 2, 3 is Klaus loses faith in humanity. Oh, there's the bit of the Lifehold. So he uses the conduit, which is shaped like that thing over there. He remakes the universe as Xenoblade 1, and Xenoblade 2 is the Earth Left Behind. And maybe there's even more worlds than that as like other universes. Life pod. Whereas Xenoblade Chronicles X is like, hey, aliens are about to duke it out over the planet. Let's get the hell out of here. And then the Earth is destroyed. Like, how can both these things be true? And also, why are bits of the Lifehold shaped like the conduit / the Zohar from the Xenosaga games? Like, clearly this has to be intentional, right? Why shape it like this otherwise, these weird USB stick looking things? But Xenoblade Chronicles 3, when we go into like that memory of the past showing the Earth the way that was before, you hear the radio playing in the background that mentions Project Exodus, which is the project that's all about getting people off of Earth before like the aliens come to battle. Like that thing right there, the ECP, the Earth Life Colonization Project, and Project Exodus and stuff. These are name dropped in Xenoblade Chronicles 3 on like the Earth that Klaus would have lived in before he remade the universe. And it's like, what? Are they just gonna like retcon this into the mix where it's like Klaus did his experiment at the same time that aliens were duking it out? Maybe his experiment was the Flash, but like, you would think that in cutscenes of these other games, it would be like clearly tied together. Like, hey, Klaus does his experiment while there's aliens like duking it out or something. These have always felt like very separate things that can't both make sense, can't both be true. And yet, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 clearly established, we're gonna try to bring X into the mix. It makes sense somehow. I've seen, yeah, like, how do you rope that in? It does, like, maybe there's some way that they can retcon it, but at this point, I'm kind of worried about, like, the Xeno series just becoming, like, the friggin' FNAF timeline, where they're just kind of riding out and being like, oh, here's the excuse for why this makes sense. So, you know, I was just kind of content with X being, like, a separate kind of thing, or, like, a parallel universe, or, you know, the Samarians that humans, like, were created by, or, like, are partially related to, or whatever the heck, apparently appeared at, like, the dawn of time, and, you know, spread their influence and their technology around. I've seen some people estimate before that maybe the Samarians are other scientists from Klaus's experiment, or something like that, where the world of Xenoblade Chronicles X is just another universe created by Klaus, and like, there just so happened to be like another Earth that was created and stuff like that, and you know, it would make sense why they look why Samarians would look human-like. Presumably they look human-like. I guess we never actually see a Samarian. But Xenoblade Chronicles 3 clearly established that there was the Earth Life Colonization Project and Project Exodus and all that during Klaus's time. But it's like, it doesn't fit together. Unless, like, the epilogue here does some things that make it fit together better, but at face value, I just don't actually see how it can fit together. But yeah, I just think Chronicles X and previous Xeno series games should have not made canon to the Chronicles trilogy. I agree. I don't like having a pointless shared universe that overcomplicates things. Yeah, I can agree. Same reason I hate shared universe Soulsborne theory. It ruins the stories of the games and needlessly overcomplicates everything. Yeah, I can see how that would be the case. Surprised Klaus actually separated Earth into 3 instead of 2? Maybe? And then there was like another Earth where it faced the threat of like an alien invasion later, and then they did Project Exodus, but then like, why would there be the Earth Life Colonization Project and Project Exodus in Klaus's time before he did it? It doesn't, I don't get it. If they had kept X as a separate universe but made it so it's just a world where Klaus never went insane, that would be interesting. Maybe? But like, in Xenoblade 3, the world that we saw was like the Earth before Klaus's experiment, and the radio broadcast mentioned Project Exodus by name, and it also name-dropped one of the head honcho scientists from Xenosaga, Dmitry Yuriev, or whatever the heck his name was. I'll find out when I play the Xenosaga games, where apparently, from what I've heard, if I'm not misremembering things here, because again, I haven't played the games myself, so just from what I remember hearing from other people, apparently Dmitry was like the Klaus equivalent of the Xenosaga games, where Klaus used the conduit, which looks like that, to recreate the universe and do different things. Whereas in the Xenosaga games, Dimitri was the one that used the Zohar, which looked like that, to like make a new universe and recreate the world and stuff like that. So there's a lot of parallels between Xenosaga and Xenoblade. So why is Dmitry Yuriev, or whatever his name is, being name dropped in the Xenoblade world as well? If they serve like the same narrative purpose where both Klaus and Dmitry are the scientists that recreated the world, unless they retcon it in such a way where it's like, oh yeah, it turns out Klaus and Dmitry are just like close buddies, and during those cutscenes that you saw where the universe was remade in both games, that was them working together. They both did that thing and made like different universes and stuff, and like, I actually like don't know how they're going to do this. Xenoblade 3's DLC established, hey, we're interested in bringing X into the mix, and we're interested in bringing Saga into the mix, with both Cosmos coming to the planet, presumably, and Dmitry being name-dropped. So it's like, how are they going to do this? It feels like the plan wasn't really there from the get-go, and now they're trying to figure out how to make it work, even though, because the plans weren't in there initially, from what it feels like, it just isn't going to slot together. I don't get it. But again, like, maybe some things will be answered once I play the conclusion here. I want whatever the writers were smoking writing Xenoblade 3, honestly. Yeah, fuck it. Make the mecha spin-off canon. Yeah, exactly. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's just not a Xenosaga. Well, it seems strange that, like, the radio would name drop him for, like, one bit. And two, the post-credits scene. There's the credits that shows cutscenes from Xenoblade Chronicles 1, 2, and 3 to give the impression that, like, this is the end of the trilogy. But then there's a post-credits scene to show, like, a little bit of a sneak preview of what they're cooking up next. And that post-credits scene shows the worlds, like, coming back together again, like, maybe in a better way this time. And then there's, like, a little glimmer of light that is flying towards the planet, and then the game ends. And Xenosaga Episode 3 ended with Cosmos floating towards some planet. That was how the Xenosaga games ended, without that ever being continued. So the fact that there's a parallel between the end of Xenoblade 3 and the end of Xenosaga 3 kind of says they want to start bringing stuff together for the next games, which is why I feel like this is probably the end of Xenoblade, and they're gonna start doing something else that I'm very, very much worried about becoming, like, a multiversal mess. Like, at least with Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2, it was relatively easy to follow, because it's like, Xenoblade 1 is the new universe created, and Xenoblade 2 is, like, the old universe. But they have, like, the same shared origin story and are intricately connected. It's like, yep, that I can get behind. But now, if we're roping, like, X into the mix, which is, like, is it another universe? Is this going on at the same time somehow? And all the Xenosaga stuff that also can't, like, be true at once, because, like, Klaus and Dmitry would be, like, the same guy, but now they're different guys and they exist in the same universe. It's like, how the heck even? Here, let's switch my input briefly. Let's briefly look at this radio cutscene from Xenoblade 3, because Definitive Edition here was made in a post-Xenoblade 3 world, so maybe the epilogue will acknowledge it in some way. Let's see here. Open Chrome. Firefox has been lagging on me a little bit lately. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed. All cutscenes, I guess? And I could just, like, jump to the thing in question. Future Redeemed all cutscenes? Yeah, this here. This is just a cutscene movie. I'm not going to go pay you because you just recorded the game. It's not transformative, dude. But that's neither here nor there. The thingamabob here, where's that one cutscene? It's around here somewhere. It's this. So the radio isn't even the main focus of the cutscene here. Let's mute the capture card. The radio isn't even the main focus here. It's just playing in the background while, like, the actual important characters to the story are having, like, their main conversation. So in Xenoblade 3, there's, like, this bit towards the end of the game where we delve into, like, the memories of the old world. This is the way the Earth used to be before Klaus, like, recreated the world. And you have, like, the little subtitles that are, like, the radio speaking, which is good because the radio is hard to hear while the other people are talking.
Continuing yesterday's placid highs, the day promises to be pleasant. Today's news
I don't think that there's anything important here yet. Whoops, I just adjusted the volume. Yeah, that's probably not important. Yeah, and then the characters are like, what the hell is going on here? Whoa, we're seeing memories of the old world and stuff.
Huh?
And then that's where she played Megalovania in my video essay. Okay. So like there's a conversation
Welcome.
that they have
I
and the
was
player's
waiting for you.
presumably paying attention to.
Well, Barry,
But
don't
then
you
the
think
radio
whether
in the
we're having this
background
person-
just casually makes both Xenoblade
Well,
Chronicles X and
how
Xenosaga
come
canon.
You're...
It's such a wonderful place.
Don't worry
isn't it?
about what the characters
I've
are actually
always
saying.
dreamed of this.
Just ignore
A
that.
place we can live together. A place
Okay.
to call home.
Recap for any latecomers. Spaceport saw the launch. Oh, maybe I went ahead too far. Maybe I shouldn't be skipping. Minute on the 16th, the first Radamantis Spaceport saw the launch of the Earth-Life Colonization Project's 8th mothership, the Icarus. I don't know if Icarus is ever referred to by name in Xenoblade Chronicles X, but the Earth-Life Colonization Project. This is a project that came to be in Xenoblade Chronicles X out of necessity for the aliens that were coming to destroy the planet.
When did they...
So it's like, yep, they're launching ships.
Taking 480,000 settlers to the Eta Carina Nebula in the Carina Sagittarius arm of the Milky Way.
So they're setting out to other places, and presumably that would be one of the ones with like the robot people that can remake bodies later, because Elma was saying in the cutscenes towards the end that if they were taking like actual physical bodies, it could only hold like 50,000 at most. So I guess it's saying 450,000 there means that it's ones that have like the robots of Xenoblade Chronicles X. Yeah, and Project Exodus is name dropped as well, which is, you know, the whole project there in Xenoblade Chronicles X. 8th Interstellar Colony ship.
All right.
But it makes it sound like in the Xenoblade Chronicles trilogy canon, like this project existed, but they were more like casually sending people out. Like, oh yeah, we're sending ships out from time to time here and there. Not like, oh god, the aliens are coming, panic, send out as many as we can now. Like
Wash
it
your hands
gives the
first and then
impression
make
of
a
it in
line.
Xenoblade Chronicles
Because
X.
today I've
So,
made something extra special.
like, is it different in this or something? I don't know how many vessels there were in Xenoblade Chronicles X that is set out. So that's the part where they casually make Xenoblade Chronicles
There's
X
plenty to
canon.
go around.
Focusing
Just let me
capacity of
know
up
if
to
you want
1.5
seconds.
million people. Elma said it was 20 million with the white whale. So I mean, maybe the white whale comes later on, and this is the earlier phases.
The project will send a total of 10 million people out into the great.
Wait, so how exactly does it work then? If it's like 50,000 at most if it's physical, and then like 20 million if it's the whole robot remaking thing, but those numbers aren't matching up there. So
Now for our next story.
what is Project Exodus in the friggin' what is Project Exodus in the Xenoblade trilogy? Is it different from the Xenoblade X one? Oh, here's I forgot this did a little bit about the Save Your Right rebels, since you didn't really know anything about who the heck they were in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. But I mean, this also brings up some more questions.
Isn't this great?
Where it's like they're making some sort of
There's no room for
proposals, and
woes or
we know
worries
that
here.
later there's the Save Your Right rebels
Nothing
and
to
stuff
ruin
like
our
that.
happiness.
But
Out there.
so it has to do with like their rights
There's
and
a
stuff
world
like that.
this waiting.
So maybe that's why the
A
Save Your
place
Rights
for
got
new
all
lives
pissed
to
off
live
and
as they please.
waged war and stuff like that.
Just like this.
So first it touches Xenoblade X, then Xenoblade 2, and then
was promised to me.
Xenosaga, I believe.
By him.
So Ari Mims,
Him.
is this the simulation we explained?
The person with the silver hair and kind
Uh-huh.
eyes.
I just beat the main game, and I was about to start doing the epilogue in a sec.
He
We're looking
gave
back
us
at the
this
radio
beautiful
cutscene from
world.
Xenoblade 3 that just casually made X canon.
And now, Dimitri.
Yeah,
He said
this
if
is
we
the
fit-
Dudo here. So they went from Xenoblade Chronicles X stuff to Xenoblade Chronicles 2 stuff to Xenosaga stuff. So I haven't played the Xenosaga games yet. I would like to one of these days, but apparently this Dmitry Yuriev is like the stand-in of like Klaus in the Xenosaga games, the equivalent. Where it's like he used the Zohar to remake the universe, whereas Klaus used the Conduit to remake the universe. But now Dmitry Yuriev is also just like canon in the same world that Klaus lives in, and it's like, I don't understand where they're trying to take this story from here. No, I mean IRL. Oh yeah, we're probably Mims IRL, I would imagine. How's it going, Ash Force Cartel? Yeah, wait a second. This is just what happens at the end of Golden Age and Destiny, but worse in every way. What
Simply
with
cast away the
everything
old
being mashed
lives.
together, even if it doesn't make sense. I assume that the stuff with Xenoblade Chronicles 3 here is more of like a teaser for future stuff, and I appreciate the follow there, Ash Force Cartel. Like, they clearly didn't pull it into the Xenoblade 3 DLC with the intention of like, yep, everything is explained, everything is in, more of just like a, oh my god, everything is canon. What are they going to do in terms of like the story from here?
Out, unburdened, and all this
like,
can be ours.
If Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive is anything like Xenoblade 1 Definitive, then maybe the new epilogue content will just end up being like a trailer/teaser for what's yet to come. No, I mean the Exodus stuff. Oh, that's the name of a project in that. I think that might be done for like the radio. Radio might be done. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the radio's done, and then they do like more stuff with the story there. So that's all that stuff there. So I really hope that the epilogue of this game will answer a lot of things with X, just because it's been like a decade with so many unanswered questions about X. But I am feeling like, considering Xenoblade 1 Definitive's new epilogue story, Future Connected, was more about just teasing where they're going to take the story next. I feel like that might be what's going to end up going on here, because 3 was like, hey, we're bringing Xenoblade Chronicles X into the mix. Immediate next game, we're dropping Xenoblade Chronicles X with a new epilogue. And then, presumably this epilogue will probably tease at, like, the next thing that's actually going to go on, which will be the Xeno something else that ropes in Xenoblade 1, 2, 3, X, and Xenosaga 1, 2, and 3, presumably. So, I really am hoping, I'm crossing my fingers for what this epilogue is going to be. But I really hope that it's not just, like, a trailer for what's yet to come, like the, like Future Connected largely was. I did appreciate how it kind of wrapped up Melia's character, but it really didn't feel very essential. It's just like, oh, here's a threat that's come out of nowhere that is not going to be explained. That's just a teaser for like Xenoblade 3 and stuff. In Destiny, the Exodus ships were rapidly launched because one of the prediction engines humanity had suddenly detected the presence of the Black Fleet, and in seconds the rate of human extinction nearly rose up to 100%. So very much like everyone has to get out of there, kind of like what was going on here. Only stopped due to literal gods stopping the Black Fleet's attack. Well, yeah, definitely some similarities there, except with no saviors this time in this here video game. Unless Klaus was involved while all the ships were flying off or something. Alright, well, I think I've said all the speculation stuff and information that we had going into this. At this point, I should probably just actually play the epilogue and try to find out what the hell is going on here. We can have a little bit of a look-see. Is there some new quests now that I've beaten the game? Snipe Hunt. And, the Unbreakable Sword. Oh, do you know what I can do before I start doing the epilogue? I can go get a friggin' busted-as-hell sword. It's over here, I think. The downside of this sword is it's not gonna let me gain TP. But that's like with auto attacks, and when am I auto attacking? So it doesn't even really matter. So the base power of my current sword is... Let's see here. Power rating? It's in thousands. I thought there was like hundreds of power thingamabob. Because I know that the Bewitching Glaive Receding Rust had like a 400 something power rating. I could have sworn. This is did they change how the numbers work? I swear, like, the equipment that I'd had before would be somewhere in the 200s, and then the Receding Rust would be, like, 444 or something like that. Basically double it. Where the heck is that cave again? Did I go to the wrong place? I was just at this cave not long ago. It's not this one. Am I losing my mind? Oh, because I'm in this area. I need to be at... Yep, that would explain it. I'm in the wrong section of Noctilum.